Hey guys, welcome back to the Mountain Bike Shed. Please hit subscribe, like, definitely comment. All those things kind of help us. Tonight we're going to run through just kind of a bike that's coming in for a basic tune-up. So I'll try to be as fast and brief with this as possible. We'll break it down into a few different sections. You guys aren't stuck watching me for too long. But we'll jump right to it. First things first, we got the bike up in the stand. This is Marin Rip Zone 2 from 2020-ish. We want to do an inspection first. So when I'm looking at a bike, I can already see cables frayed. We're going to need a new cable. At that point, I'll check the housing. Housing looks pretty decent, but if we're going to do a new cable, then we need to do new housing as well. So we'll get that switched up for the customer. You can shift through it and kind of see where things are at. Anytime I'm running through a bike for the first time, I'll stop here before I get to my final cog, just in case anything's off. I can see his chain's dirty. That didn't sound good. Oh wow, so we can see our limit screw super far off here, so we're going to need to adjust that. We'll do that when we take care of the cable though, so no biggie, but I do know that moving forward. Cassette feels good and tight. We got a little bit of play in the hub, so I'm going to need to check that out. These look like formula hubs, so hopefully it's not going to need new bearings. Maybe that back end's just too tight or too loose. That's a 6 mil. So our back end's pretty snug. So having play here means we've got play in the bearing, so we'll have to check into that. Brakes don't seem to be making any noise. I got good feel on the levers. That's nice. Ooh. So we got a little bit of crunchiness here in the fork. I don't think you guys can hear it on mic. But when I move this back and forth, I can feel it's not smooth. So we'll open that up. I bet you we find that this bottom bearing needs to be replaced. And a lot of times that's going to be the case when we're looking at these. You can shake it back and forth too if there's any movement. There's not. And it's free play, but I can feel the vibrations. We know that's going to be an issue. Front hub feels good. Front brake's tight. Front brake feels good. Dropper lever's a little bit loose. It's adjusted all the way out. So we may leave that be. It's going to have to get a new cable as well. Suspension pivots feel good. I like to take the chain off here. So I can get a good feel for the bottom bracket. We got a slight amount of crunchiness, but it's not terrible. I'm okay with that. But we'll let the customer know that maybe he'll have to get that taken care of at some point. So yeah, basically on this bike, kind of doing my quick little shakedown, we found that I've already measured the chain when we checked the bike in. It's a good thing to do as well. It's good. So yeah, we need new shift cable and housing on the rear derailleur. We need a new cable on our dropper and get that readjusted. And then we're going to have to take a look at this rear hub. Oh, and the lower headset here on the bike. So that was all real quick. And these are things you should be doing to your own bike. Maybe check a tool, put a tool on all these. I'm going to end up hitting torque specs on all those once the bike gets cleaned up. So I'm not super concerned with that for right now. But next thing, after I'm done with my inspection, I like to get the drivetrain cleaned up. So this is isopropyl alcohol. And I'll spray that down on the pulley. This is isopropyl mixed with water though, 50-50. I'd be cautious about using just straight isopropyl. Can be a bit much. You know, you don't really want to spray too much in your gears as it is a degreaser. That's why I sprayed on chains. But I'm going to wipe this chain, clean it up real good. It's kind of nasty. And then we're going to get the wheels off, get them up in the truing stand. We'll finish wiping this bike down. And then we'll conclude our inspection. But yeah, that's what you guys want to be doing. This is what you should be doing to your bike. You know, between rides, you know, running through the gears, checking your cables, making sure those are all good. Cleaning your chain. If it's dirty, cleaning it, relubing it. It's probably dirty. Wiping down your stanchions. Checking your headset. Because, you know, that little quick, you know, whatever it was, minute or so that I spent doing that, could prevent a lot of different problems. Like with that low limit screw being off, if he would have went out and rode, he would have shifted right into his wheel, probably broke his derailleur, maybe some spokes. I mean, it would have been a bad day for him. Oh, this thing was a mess. All right, so we'll get the wheels off. We'll finish getting this bike cleaned up. Why do I keep grabbing 5 mils? Oh, because I didn't put my tool back. So we'll pull the front wheel off first. It's got good grease on it. Came right out because it is properly greased. Good job. This will go up in the truing stand. Anytime I go into the truing stand, I try to put the wheel in the directions it's going. It doesn't really matter. It's just going to help keep you oriented, just in case you do run into any problems or anything like that. So I find that to be a good idea. Do that. So I may not do, we've done a video with some wheel truing on it. I'll probably not do this on here because it's hard to focus. But typically I just want to make kind of 3 adjustments on each side. I'm always turning the nipples counterclockwise. I'm tightening the spokes and I'm looking for a rub on one side, and then I will tighten the spoke that pulls the opposite direction. And I turn it 1/2 turn counterclockwise to tighten it. And I'll do 3 adjustments on each side. And then I'll call it good. If it's within measurement, of course. I won't just call it good. But I try not to do more than 3. If we do more than 3, then we start getting into issues where we could be messing with radial trueness as well as the lateral trueness that I'm trying to affect. So, yeah, if it gets to a point to where I have to do more than 3 adjustments. Now, adjusting on a spoke, I've got a rub here on a spoke that's on the same side of the wheel as the side that I'm doing. So I'm just going to do a 1/4 turn on each opposite spoke outside of that one. And we're pretty tight right here. All right, so that's my adjustments. Everything else feels good. We're good to go there. I can set this wheel aside somewhere safe where I'm not going to get the rotor dirty. We'll pop the rear off. I've once again, ooh, I did put my tool back this time. No, I didn't. Big problem, guys. You got to put your tools away. That was one thing at Barnett's. The original bicycle school that Calvin Jones was first teacher at. Sorry, by John Barnett, but that was one of the big things when we were in school is the instructors would get so aggravated if you did not hang your tool back up on the wall. They wouldn't say anything to you. You would just get like a really deep look of disappointment from them. So that's never good. This axle is actually a little bit dry. You can see I had some problems getting that one out because it is dry. So we've actually got those hub issues to look at here. But we'll put this in the truing stand. I'll go through wiping down the bike since you guys already watched me boringly look at the front wheel, which had no problems. For this, I'm going to use Muck Off Bike Wash. I like it a lot. I've got the wheels off. I'm not worried about the disc brakes. I'm going to be running through this entire bike, so I'm really not worried about getting anything anywhere, to be honest. Still not going to spray the brakes directly. I'm going to avoid that area. I no longer have the wheels or the rotors on this bike to be an issue. So a little bit of overspray on them, but I'm not actually spraying like the pads and the surfaces, and we don't have rotors. And I recommend that. I mean, they say this is safe to spray on your braking surfaces, but avoid that a little bit maybe. Linda, you got an Instagram notification. So the whole reason we're going to wipe our bike down, if you're at home, you can take your wheels off if you have a stand and really get in here and wipe this bike down. But we're going to be able to do a few things here. We're kind of touching every part, so we're going to tell if it's loose as we wipe dirt off of something. If it's loose, we're going to feel it jiggling around. It's going to give us an opportunity to correct that. So that goes for, you know, whether it's our derailleur hanger. I can tell that our derailleur is not fully installed. It's moving around, so that's going to need to be addressed right now. So yeah, that was a full 2 turns out. So that's something that would have got, you know, people just don't notice, but if you're wiping down your bike, you're going to feel that move as I did, and then you're going to know to tighten it. So that's probably why his shifting was off. It probably led to his chain falling off, which then led to him bending his hanger, which is why he's having problems now. So I'll probably check to make sure that hanger's not bent up as well. But again, I'm just wiping the bike down. I'm trying to get into cracks and crevices that aren't normally cleaned by people. And again, by doing that, I'm going to feel stuff moving. And it's going to make my job easier as I work on this bike. The cleaner it is, the easier it is for me to work on it. So, you know, that's one big tip. If, you know, you're taking your bike into a shop, make sure it's clean. Make sure your chain's clean. Make sure your chain's lubed. Make sure everything's taken care of on the bike. That doesn't mean find a car wash because you realize, oh shoot, I'm headed to the bike shop and my bike's filthy. Let me hit it with a bunch of water walls. So no, if you did that, that's way worse. So you're not really helping anybody out. I mean, don't bring a bike caked in mud to the bike shop. That's not cool. But yeah, wipe your bike down. This is what we have to do. I do this every bike. I can't work on dirty bikes. I can't diagnose problems with dirty bikes. I mean, a lot of your shifting issues, if you're having some, probably are coming from your bike not being cleaned. So it takes, again, 5 minutes to do this stuff. It takes 5 minutes to do an inspection. You know, I pulled off the wheel, so it added some time here. But really, this takes 5 minutes to do as well. But yeah, so yeah, maybe we gotta deal with this headset. We'll do that in the next video. That's a fun one. So yeah, maybe we'll do the headset and some other stuff. So that's it, guys. Wipe down your bike between rides. You know, I know I'm going to be cleaning this a little bit further, so I'll lube the chain before we get everything on. But do this between rides, especially if you have a hard ride, if you have a muddy ride. You know, take the time to run a quick inspection on your bike, check the wheels, check the derailleur, make sure everything's tight, and wipe it down. The wipe down process, gosh, so important. So, yeah, do that. Check it out. Subscribe. We'll have more videos on this bike and some other things that we do. We'll try to make sure everything's organized for you guys. We appreciate you subscribing. It means a lot to us. And definitely like it, comment, interact. That helps as well. Thanks, guys.